2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Delusions of Grandeur. I'm your host, and today we are continuing the holiday season with some Christmas movies with my friend Boris, and he survived the earthquake.
Yeah, there was a really bad earthquake in Croatia. Fortunately, nothing happened in my town, but it was pretty bad for the people who live there.
Oh yeah, but in any case, we'll dedicate this movie podcast to those who those who perished in that earthquake. So, but in any case, I'm glad that you survived. And today's film, it comes from a filmmaker by the name of Sean Donohue, who has a production company by the name of Gatorblade Films, but he sometimes distributes with Sleazebox Films, which is a subsidiary company of Chris Woods. And he did a Christmas film called Cannibal Claus in 2016. And as you can see, this is a limited edition DVD and CD combo pack. I ended up buying this off of eBay at the time when they were on sale. I think it was like $25 or something like that, but fairly cheap. I thought that this would be a great way to watch the film finally and share it with a friend from all the way across the world. So
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure it was kind of a treat. Let's see what this film is about before we go into our first impressions. So it's Christmas Eve, and Santa is out and about spreading joy with a hatchet and some barbecue skewers. Cannibal Claus is the modern tale of a mall Santa Claus who is down on his luck at Christmas time. Instead of staying in on Christmas Eve, he decides to go out and punish the naughty in this blood-drenched, meat-filled cannibal feast. Watch if you dare. Cannibal Claus is guaranteed to leave you repulsed. So, what are your first impressions of this film?
Well, what it says about the movie being guaranteed to leave you repulsed, I must say that's correct in a way, although that's a pretty good thing actually, because from what I understood, this was a rather low budget independent movie, and for a movie like that, all this gore and props, it was very well done. It looked surprisingly realistic for a low budget movie like this, so that was pretty impressive. And I'd say it was a pretty decent movie with some morbid humor and things like that. I just wish there was some more specific conclusion to the story, if you see what I mean. But it was still a pretty shocking and pretty good movie.
Oh yeah. I had never actually seen this before today. I just
Neither
hadn't
have
gotten around to watching it. I have many different movies that I have on my plate to watch, and by the time I get around to watching some of them and getting them out there, maybe I'm a bad reviewer because I know when I get films, I'm supposed to watch them and get my thoughts out on films like right away while the item is hot, but I just never got around to watching it. So I'm glad that I had a buddy of mine to watch it with, so that I could finally get this watched. And it just so happens to be Christmas time still, because last week was Christmas, so it's not too far off. But I liked it. I mean, it was more of a shall I say, go girl experience, where we had there was some lesbianism. There was some nudity. And there was a marginal little bit of gore in the whole mix. So, and some of the meat actually looked like it was really real. So,
pretty much.
But let's take a look at the plot line, even though it's a bit. Would you say it was a plot?
Well, actually, like I said, I wish the story had a more specific conclusion, which, yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to say. It
well,
does
it's just
some
Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Okay, here's the basic gist of it, ladies and gentlemen. Here's it in a nutshell. So Santa Claus, a mall Santa, gets fired from his job. He decides when he gets home, he realizes his refrigerator is empty, and he goes out on a killing spree to get some meat to flame up a barbecue. But along the way, he has some fun too. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you wanted the short version, but that being said, what did you think about this this very beginning part where we meet Santa Claus, who was played by Bob Glazer, by the way? He is a returning actor in Sean Donohue's filmography, from what I understand, and he's an interesting character.
Well, in a way, he actually is an interesting character because, like, at the very beginning, we see him getting fired, which makes us assume that what he does next is somehow provoked by losing his job. But then at the end, we find out that what actually happened to him was something else, and losing his job eventually didn't seem as relevant as it seemed at the beginning. But what he was doing was actually a result of something we will probably bring up later in this discussion. But yeah, I'd say my one issue with the get to find out how or why those particular people he went after, how or why they got on his naughty list, what they did in the past to make him choose to kill them in particular. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Something is.
Okay.
I lost the sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. What happened?
Oh, I put it on mute. But anyways,
Uh,
I'm still working around with this thing. I can actually press mute on this new mic of mine that I have instead of putting mute like so. Um, but in any case, I would have to say that in a sense he is some kind of a Santa Claus. Because supposedly he has the list and he's going to check it twice and he's going to find out who's naughty or nice. So, knowing these facts about the mythos of Santa Claus, obviously he's got a naughty list, and he immediately starts out with a naughty list. Apparently,
Yeah, actually, at the beginning, the nice list is empty until a certain point in the movie.
correct. But there is a reveal that is kind of astonishing later on, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah.
But we get him going out of the house because his refrigerator is empty, and he says he's going out to eat. Well, we assume that he's just going out to get like the regular Christmas meal. Go to your local Denny's or your local Burger King and get a Whopper or something like that. But he ends up stealing into a house and hiding behind a tree. What did you think about this whole scenario?
Well, actually, there was one pretty amusing moment when the woman was decorating the tree, and she didn't notice that she was putting an ornament on this man's penis. That was
And that actress was actually Ashley Lynn Caputo, if I remember correctly, and she's been in quite a few films herself. Let's look at her status. Okay, so she was in. Okay, the first film that she was in, I guess she was in a film in 2000 called Strap On Sally 15. How Do You Like This Tushy Seymour in 2000 as well. He was in Joe Vampire, which was a sleazebox film for a while.
Ooh.
And it was directed by Sean Donohue and Mike Nish. And a while ago, when I actually did my review on a line, Mike Nish came out of the woodworks and said, "Hey, I saw your review. We're actually working on a director's cut of this film." So, and then I guess she played a victim in American Holocaust, which is kind of what put Sleazebox on the board, I guess. For a while, the American Holocaust was like the most sought after Sleazebox film, and I think they recently came out with a director's cut of that on Blu-ray. Then she was, I guess, in Naughty Dirty Nasty, which was in 2014, and then she was in American Guinea Pig Bouquet of Guts and Gore. As Erica, she was in a movie that I really like, which I would love to eventually down the road introduce to you. It's an independent film, but it was really done well. I love the psychosis of it. It's called Franklin, a Symphony of Pain. And I guess she played a succubus in the film. It was directed by Jeremy Westrate, and you could actually find the film on Amazon.
Sounds good.
But then she was in Scumbags and Joel D. Wynkoop's Diary of Blood short film, as well as Joel D. Wynkoop's Slasher Weekend, which was also a
Oh wow.
sleazebox film. She was also in Death Court Service, Chaos AD, Crack Baby Millionaire, Psychos Are Us, I Dared You, Truth or Dare, Part 5, Joel D. The Wind Coop Tales, Taste Me, Death Court Service, Part 3. She played in The Heartbreak Killer, which I do have, and the most recent one that I have her in is Earth Girls Are Sleazy. She was the hostess for an anthology that they put out. She's had an interesting independent filmography. So what did you think of the actress that played her, or her performance in here?
Well, she was pretty good, although sadly we didn't see much of her as she ended up the way she did. But she was pretty good as far as we saw.
One thing that surprised me about the present that she got was the fact that it was just the clothing that was wrapped up in the thing. Normally, people put like clothing in like a box and put some tissue paper around it instead of just putting wrapping paper around it.
Oh, good point. I didn't pay attention to that.
But I mean, I don't know. Every time I've gotten a piece of clothing, it's always come in some tissue paper or at least rolled up, and it has some you know, it's actually gift wrapped, you know.
And you got some piece of clothing like that.
Well, no, I've never
just
gotten
kidding.
clothing like that.
I just kidding.
I know. That's okay. I am not a cross dresser, so I do. Although I did one Halloween dress up like an Indian squad just to scare the shit out of people. And the following year, I ended up dressing up like my girlfriend at the time in college, and she dressed up like me. So for fun, I will scare the shit out of people and wear a dress or a thong or something like that. I don't know, but just to scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, I did a few crossplays for Halloween, maybe 3 times so far.
There's nothing wrong with cosplay. That's a totally different story. It's another thing if you end up dressing up like a female and going down the street and offering your body for sexual favors, you know. So
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I mean, then of course you'd just be the next $3 hoe. But as we know, there are plenty of hoes in this film.
Oh, definitely.
But so ultimately, exactly what did he do to this couple?
Well, he killed them both. From what I remember, he knocked the woman out first. I'm not sure if he killed her right away or just knocked her out, and then he strangled the man to death with those Christmas lights. I actually don't know the exact English word for them.
Just Christmas lights. That can be be what we call them.
Yeah, so he strangled the man to death with that, and then he ripped them both apart with. What did the axe?
I would call what he did dismemberment.
I didn't think of that word. Yeah, pretty
But
much.
basically, he took an axe and he hacked away at their bodies. And it looked like he actually tore the skin off of the man where his face
Yeah.
was. And he had like an eyeball in the middle of the skin. And it was gross and it looks somewhat real. What do you think?
Well, actually, yeah, that's one of the things that I was referring to when I said that the gore effects in this movie and the props they were using, they really looked, to me at least, astoundingly realistic for a low budget movie. And that's one thing I found quite impressive about it.
Oh yeah, I thought so, especially when you looked in that tub. Uh, that tub had all kinds of interesting looking meat particles. What did you think?
Oh, definitely.
But
It was
it looked like
nasty
he
to
had
look
her
at,
laying on her
but
side. It looked like he had her laying on her side, and he was sitting upright. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to sticky stuff on me, I'm not sure how I would feel sitting in a tub having all of that stuff like pouring down on me. And it looked like he actually was pissing on them at one point, didn't it?
oh yeah, yeah, he did that too.
And then he took her head and gave himself a blowjob.
Oh yeah, that was quite shocking.
And then he took that head and several other pieces of ligaments and legs and arms and hands and things like that, and took them in a couple of garbage bags and brought them home and wrapped them in saran wrap and put them in the fridge. What did you think about that?
Well, I guess I assumed he was saving them for later or something, but then in the end we saw him do something quite unexpected.
And so in between that couple and another couple, he ended up going on the town and seeing what kind of fun he could have. So I think he ended up at a stripper's either home or house or at a private club that seemed to have a strip pool in it or something, because there was one particular redheaded gal who seemed to be doing all kinds of gymnastics for him.
Oh, yeah, was that the one with those, again, I don't know the English word, what you put on Christmas presents, those little things. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
bows.
don't.
Bows.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had bows um, on her brassiere or bra or bikini or whatever you want to bikini top. There we go.
Well, actually, I think, unless I remember it wrongly, that she wasn't wearing anything on her breasts, only those bows.
It could be. I just remember
Mm.
them being attached to a very stringy looking bikini top.
Oh, oh, maybe. I'm not sure, though.
But regardless, she was very sexy and
Oh, yeah.
and very good looking. And I think I made a comment. Well, I guess there's Christmas under the camel toe.
Oh, yeah, you did say that at one point.
But in any case, ultimately, she ends up giving him a dance, and he ends up leaving her without giving her any money. And she tries to ask him for the money, and he almost chokes her. But and he's like, "Do you want to end up on the naughty list?"
Actually, I must say that was pretty good surprise. Like the way the movie was going that far, I was almost certain that he was going to kill her. So it was pretty surprising when he actually let her live. That's not not something a horror killer would usually do. So
Well,
that was pretty.
she was pretty nice to him, so I think he let her slide.
Yeah,
and,
actually, he
and that's
added
something
her
she
to
did literally. She slid very well.
the. Yeah, and he actually added her to the nice list.
Was it before this or after? That's right.
Uh,
It was before this, or maybe it was after this. There was a man of color that was sitting on a couch, and he was having two girls who were making out with him, and he ended up surprising them, and trying to I think he ran them down with his car.
yeah, actually, he killed the man first in the house, and the women ran away, but he chased them with the car and killed them both.
What did you think about that particular moment? Did you expect him to run them down?
Uh, well, actually, I kind of did, but when it happened the way it did, it was more abrupt than I expected. Like it was just blood popping up on screen all of a sudden. Uh,
Yeah, that was an interesting moment where all of a sudden you just saw a bunch of stuff on the windshield, and then him backing away from the two bodies. And then, of course, he ended up getting outside of the car and taking what pieces he could.
yeah.
And I guess there was another couple where one chick had a lot of piercings on her face, and the other chick she was spanking. What did you think about this particular scene with Santa looking through the window, being a peeping Tom?
Well, he did have something very good to look at. Those two were pretty sexy.
And why were you interested in the tattoo on her chest at first?
Oh, well, I was curious what it was because I noticed there was a tattoo, but I couldn't immediately distinguish what it was, and I saw this Leviathan's cross pendant around her neck, so I was curious if the tattoo maybe had something to do with that as well, but it turned out to be something else. So I eventually forgot.
And it's kind of interesting how the tattoo wasn't there later on, hey?
Oh, it was.
Well, that tattoo,
I don't remember that.
the tattoo that you had seen originally was on her when she was spanking the chick, but afterwards when he came at her with the gun and she was on the bed and he was sticking the candy cane in her crotch, you could see that the tattoo was not on her chest anymore.
Oh, wow, I somehow didn't notice that.
Well, I don't know why, but I pay attention to some details.
Well, that's good. I usually fail to notice some things like that the first time I
Well,
watch a movie.
yeah, I try to enjoy a film, but when I notice like things, I gotta say it. So it's kind of like, do I say it or don't I? I mean, I know it's a low budget film, and I know there's obviously going to be some mistakes if you're on a low a budget. Sometimes you don't want to take so many takes, and that's just how it is. I think that this film was just a fun romp with a unhappy Santa.
Yeah, that much is true.
Because ultimately, once he gets done with his trolloping around town and knocking off people on his naughty list, he ends up going back to his boss that apparently he had let him go, and I guess his name is Ralph, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny. We nicknamed our cat Ralph because every time she goes on the floor. Uh, it's like she's Ralphing.
Oh wow.
But in any case, Ralph ultimately gets dead, and of course, we end up seeing a video montage of his escapades and the people that he's apparently murdered and dismembered, and a scintillating sight of the nudity that the females displayed. And in between all of this is a backstory. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that backstory?
Oh, well, yeah, like I said, that was a really shocking part of the movie
Well, why don't you
because,
tell us about the first little bit that we see, and
uh,
then we'll get to the last remainder that they left till the very end. And I think they did that on purpose.
yeah, well, at the during the first flashback, we see the guy as a kid having dinner with his parents, and they give him some meat to eat, and he doesn't like it, but they are they are forcing him to eat it.
Yep, and he just for the life of him doesn't want to eat it, and he's told that he must eat it if he wants to have any Christmas at all. And
Um,
so ultimately, he ends up having to eat this meat in the end. And I guess the reveal is the Christmas present that he's allowed to open is his dead baby sister,
um,
which, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know anything about us by now, we're obviously going to spoil the crap out of this film. So
yeah.
going into this, you should have just watched the film ahead of time. But
Yeah.
maybe you can use this as a guideline, as a funny little piece to go through, because this is just our musings about our thoughts on this film. What did you think about that reveal?
Well, it was pretty shocking and terrifying, and actually, it's a moment when, in spite of everything the guy did in the movie beforehand, you can kind of feel sorry for him when you find out how he became the way he is. It's pretty surprising to find out that what he's doing has nothing to do with losing his job or anything like that, but with childhood trauma that turned him into a cannibal. But like I said before, one issue I have with this story is that we never get to find out how exactly all those people he killed, how they got on his naughty list. Like, it's implied that if his boss was there, that the others must have wronged him somehow in the past as well. But we
I
never
don't
get to
necess-
know.
I don't necessarily think so. So I think you're supposed to think that ultimately that he is, in a sense, Santa Claus. I mean, with a little bit of know-how of the naughty versus the nice.
Yeah, but I mean, we never get to find out why those particular people got on his naughty list. That's what I mean.
I don't really think I need to know all that. The whole point of a slasher film is just to watch people die, and how gruesome it is. I mean, it's enjoyable enough to see how people die, and I don't know why it's enjoyable. It's not cool that people kill each other. That's not the point. The point is watching someone die in like terrible ways and different ways, and it's entertaining to a point.
Well, in a way, yeah. Well, I guess part of the fun is knowing that it's not real and seeing whether it was done realistically or not. Although I must say, it can be entertaining. I personally prefer it when there is also a more developed story behind it, like when there actually is a reason why the killer is doing it to every particular person they go after.
Sometimes, but sometimes there's no right or wrong reason. Just like the Joker in Batman Begins, some people just want to see the world burn, and for no particular reason. Some people just like anarchy and chaos, and I just want to see people die or that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
There are people who are cold and calculating that are out there that actually really believe that, you know, death is inevitable.
Well, at this point, it kind of is, unless science eventually finds the key of immortality.
Well, he didn't exactly barbecue Blitzen this year, but he certainly had a barbecue. So what Santa did here is he came back to his home and he fired up the grill, and he ended up taking some of the meat that he had collected and had a smorgasbord of human meat.
Yeah.
What did you think about that particular section of the film?
Well, since he had been eating human meat throughout the whole movie, that particular part didn't leave any particular impact on me. I mean, the barbecue part, but I was surprised when he put some of the severed body parts on his Christmas tree. Like, even after everything he did, I didn't expect that.
See, that's the thing. I think this was a little bit, to me, this movie kind of reminded me a little bit in between Silent Night, Deadly Night, Bad Santa, and Ed Gein, the way he really was.
Interesting point.
It was an interesting adventure, so to speak. What did you think about the special? Well, actually, there weren't really any special effects. Most of it was Most of it was spot on regular effects, the homemade ones.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, and that's another reason why I think it's quite impressive how realistic all those scenes look. I'd say it's really well done for a low budget horror movie.
I think so. I think so, and it was entertaining where it needed to be. Um, as far as the gallows humor, that he definitely portrayed throughout the film, and you almost have to wonder if they borrowed your Christmas card. You know what I mean?
Uh, well, I'm not sure actually.
Because you noticed a particular print in the very beginning credits scenes of a Krampus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that's on a Christmas card, correct?
Uh, well, not exactly a card, but I was making some horror ornaments for my Christmas tree here in my room, and yeah, they are like mini cards, like this one, and yeah, that. Among other pictures in the intro of this movie, there was this particular picture, which is one of those I made for my tree. Well, I was making these Krampus cards for my tree, and this is one of the pictures I found online and printed to make it like this. And yeah, so I was pretty surprised when I saw it in the movie. And yeah, here are some more I made the same way. I just found the pictures online, printed them, cut them out, and put this thread on them to make it possible to hang them on a tree. Give me just a moment. I knocked some items down here.
And I guess this film was mentioned on the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs. I guess on his Phantasm Christmas episode, I guess. So that's at least a plus. I don't know if you know of Joe Bob Briggs, but he was he was kind of a horror host for a time of drive-in films at one point in time.
I think I read his name somewhere, but I'm not sure. I think I haven't seen his movies.
Well, he doesn't have movies. He basically did something like Svengoolie in a sense. I don't know if you know of Svengoolie or the son of Svengoolie. He's a horror host that is on. He hosts and tells you like different things like TCM does with some of their films that they tell you little tidbits in between and do some funny little corny jokes or whatnot. That's what a horror host does. They present a film that is probably more or less in the public domain, but Svengoolie, he's gotten so big that he actually has express permission to use some of the footage that he does in some of the things that he hosts. So he's like one of the top people in his field. But in any case, what did you think about the music in the film?
Well, there was some Christmas music, which is apparently pretty common in movies like this, from what I've seen so far.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, and then of course at the end, in the end credits, we get a song that apparently is only on the soundtrack of the movie soundtrack track, but it's also on
oh, yeah.
YouTube, and it was by Joe Becker, I guess, and called I want you to die or something like that, or I
Maybe I need you to die, but I'm not sure exactly. Maybe I don't remember it
it's
correctly.
it's an interesting song. It's got some funny lyrics in it because it talks about eating your skin and all that jazz, and it has something to do with cannibalism. So it goes with the film, I think, and I think it's a special treat on the 2 disc edition here. So,
Yeah.
um, other than that, do you have anything else to add about this film?
Well, like I said earlier, I mostly wanted to talk about the character and the story. And I think I did say what I was going to say. uh,
Alrighty.
I'm not sure.
Sounds like a hoot. So next
Like a hoot. Is it
next
like this hoot?
oh man, I think Satan has been at your doorstep with that album. Or maybe Santa Claus or Krampus has been on your doorstep. Which maybe we should do a Krampus style movie this next week. I want to introduce to you an anthology that my group on Inside Movies Galore has already done. It's called A Christmas Horror Story, or since Walmart was so damn afraid of putting Christ on a film, they put a slipcover over the title that says A Holiday Horror Story.
Oh my!
Because they were so afraid of pissing off the people who are not into Christ.
Yeah, they seemingly don't even know that Christmas was derived from a pagan holiday. And
you can't really take the Christ out of Christmas. You can't, But in any case, I think that's what we will have in store for you, ladies and gentlemen, next week. So stay tuned for that. And
good.
And like I said, I think I wanted to dedicate this to the victims of the earthquake that happened in your area, but I also wanted to dedicate this episode to your grandfather who just recently passed.
Oh man, thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there is someone in a better place here. Hopefully, you don't dredge his spirit up in some conjuring that you have planned.
No, I won't do that. Don't worry.
Okay, I don't want his spirit to haunt you or anything like that anytime soon.
Yeah.
But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, on that point, ladies and gentlemen, have a happy holidays, and hopefully you won't see a Cannibal Claus coming to town.
Yeah, I really hope you won't see him.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.